made a great point. He's like, you want peace, but you rob us though. And I'll be honest, I don't trust Neek at all. You ever just see someone who just looks like you can't trust their ass? Like, Neek looks like the person, like, he'll borrow your stuff, promise to give it back, and he'll turn around and sell it. And then when you find out he sold whatever you gave him, I don't care if it's your brand new bike. I don't care if it's, sugar, whatever it is. He looks like the type, he'll sell that shit and then ask you what you want to do about it once you found out he sold. What's going on, folks? Another episode of Just My Opinion with Ryan. I'm yours truly, Ryan, and we're going to talk about Raising Kanan, Season 2, Episode 3. And if you see the pop-up, you already know what to do. Help me get to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. I would truly appreciate it. Very appreciative of the ones I have right now. So let's just keep the party going and keep putting those numbers up. So yeah, man, I feel like this episode, well, also, just rewind a little bit. If this is your first time, I may not go in chronological order. I may just jump from certain storylines that really caught my attention the most. So let's get into it. I felt like this episode really dived in. There was no hesitation. Very first scene, we see Neek, come to the bodega spot where Rock, stashes her money, and he sticks the place up. Takes Juliana as hostage, and that's how it kicks up. And just staying with that storyline of Neek, of course, Rock comes through very shortly after throughout the episode, finds out that her place has been hit, and they do a little bit of asking questions like, who in the hell would hit me, this and the third. But of course, even as somebody like Rock, it doesn't take long to really figure out, like, she's leaning towards, could it have been Neek? That couldn't have been Neek. But that's seems to be the only logical explanation as the episode progresses within this clash between Neek and Rock. So finally, we definitely see Neek's former right-hand man. I think his name is, I'll put it up in the edits. I want to say it's Worrell, but I might be wrong. But nevertheless, Neek's former right-hand man lets him know that, he got a message from Neek that he wants to meet up with Rock and the team. And first off, it was actually kind of wild. Like they meet up, and one of the main things you get from it, and this is of course towards the tail end of the episode, but one of the main things you get from it is like, Neek his main message is, I just want peace, I'm retired. And I'm sorry, I think Marvin made a great point. He's like, you want peace, but you rob us though. And I'll be honest, I don't trust Neek at all. You ever just see someone who just looks like you can't trust their ass? Like, Neek looks like the person, like, he'll borrow your stuff, promise to give it back, and he'll turn around and sell it. And then when you find out he sold whatever you gave him, I don't care if it's your brand new bike. I don't care if it's, sugar, whatever it is. He looks like the type, he'll sell that shit and then ask you what you want to do about it once you found out he sold it. Like, there's nothing about Neek that I would trust. So I feel like there's some type of underhanded alternate play. I don't think this is the last we'll see of Neek, especially being that it's only 3 episodes in. I do feel like there's something else up his sleeve. He definitely comes off like a desperate man, especially being that, as he put it, he can't even put up a lemonade stand on the block anymore without cops, giving him the evil eye. So yeah, I'm definitely with Marvin. They promised to give him peace, and now it's his turn to, return Rock's money, and that's where the untrustworthy part's gonna come. I don't know how yet, but that's where the untrustworthy part's gonna come. He's gonna, maybe do some dumb shit like give Rock, like, I don't know, 75% of her money back or something, and say something corny like, oh man, it's a finder's fee, or whatever the case is. So that's where I'm at with Neek. I don't trust it. And I know it's still early in the season. As I mentioned, I know we're only 3 episodes in. But at this point, I'm ready for the storyline between Detective Malcolm Howard and Kanan to progress. Like I said, yes, we're only 3 episodes in, but after 3 episodes, it's like, okay, cool. You finally told, if you're Malcolm, you finally told Kanan that you're his real dad. So I want to see where we go from here, because that's pretty much what the storyline was throughout this episode with Malcolm Howard and Kanan. He saw him twice in this episode, and in both times, he just kept reassuring that I'm your father. He meets him outside of Kanan's house. Kanan sits inside the car, of course, and that's when he breaks the news, like, I'm your dad. And it was definitely that awkward, nervous energy type of laugh that Kanan responds with, which you can't blame him. That's quite the news that you're dropping somebody. So I feel like that was just some type of mechanism, like just some type of natural mechanism that just came from Kanan, just to kind of give it some awkward laugh. And then towards the end of it, he even came back and was like, yo, I know Rock probably tried to tell you some stuff so you can kind of disregard what I told you, but I'm telling you some real stuff, man. I am your dad. So now that has been established twice in this episode, I definitely want to see where this relationship between Detective Howard and Kanan goes. I also appreciated the fact that, I like the line that he said. He was like, yeah, I know, I know I'm a butcher it, but it's something along the lines where Detective Howard was like, yeah, I know you shot me, I know you put a bullet in me, but I am willing to take a bullet for you, or something to that degree. But I just like that. And so I do feel like, who knows, Detective Howard may even be essential for Kanan and Rock, of being like maybe their eyes on the inside with the police. Who knows? But and speaking of that whole storyline, I love Rock's character. She, that actress is killing everything. She's killing it. But you could, I definitely throughout this episode, I think Kanan is starting to realize, my mom's been lying to me for quite some time about a good number of things. And just like subtle reactions, just the way he kind of looked at her here and there, nothing too big. Perfect example when Famous tells Kanan, oh yeah, Scrap died. Scrap killed himself in the projects or whatever. Even that didn't make sense to Kanan. It was like, that don't make sense. Scrappy didn't carry himself that way. And of course, he's the one that had to bring it up to Rock in the first place. And of course, Rock goes to that same story. So things are just really starting not to add up. And I think Kanan, especially, even though he's a teenager, the older he's getting, he's starting to see through that stuff. So I really want to see how that goes. I don't think it's a wild take necessarily, but I definitely predict that somewhere along the lines, hopefully in this season, we may even see it come to effect to where Kanan kind of grows closer to Detective Howard, just to try to know more about his biological dad, man. So especially if Rock continues to lie to Kanan, especially now that he finds us out and he's putting 2 and 2 together. It's like, damn, my mom really wanted me to kill my biological dad, so I think that's, lying to Kanan is going to blow up in Rock's face. I mean, not like she died or anything, but I feel like that relationship she has with Kanan is going to be strained. It's going to be something that's going to be broken because of her lying to, repeatedly lying to Kanan. Definitely a little bit of studio drama between Lou and Crown. Pardon me. Definitely some studio drama with that, with Lou and Crown. Just to rewind a little bit, after Rock found out that her stuff was stolen, of course, she's blowing up Lou, and he's not answering. And so just the fact that she had to come to the studio, which I understand you're angry, probably not one of the smartest things to do. But when she goes to the studio and they just go into a room and, she, leans into him about him not picking up and how they got hit, this and the third, all their money gone, this and the third, and what they're going to do about just talking they drug business talk. just simply in a room where anybody can come up to the door and listen, just like what Crown did. And of course, we see with the information that he found out from being nosy, it seems like he's trying to put two and two together and get Lou out the studio. I kind of feel unfortunate. I feel sorry for Lou. He clearly wants out of the drug game, and he wants to, definitely put more focus into music. But it's like, in order for him to continue his dream, he kind of has to still, put in that work with rock. So definitely in a interesting and unfortunate situation for Lou. And that's one thing that I did wonder, and I'm glad they're starting to do this. Like I was thinking, like, in terms of back, to studio stuff, it's like Lou has a niece who sings really good, yet he was focusing, his energy into Famous, who had that one single last season and has been, a weed head ever since, basically. And of course, he got, there's other artists who sound really good as well. So it sounds like, you got two promising R&B acts now. You got your niece and you got this other woman who is under Cartier Farid. So let's see where that goes. And of course, Cartier is definitely clearly, just enamored or just taken aback by Rock when she comes into the room. And I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I just think like he just saw a beautiful woman and was trying to spit his Shakespearean, stuff or whatever. And but yeah, other than that, man, I really am hoping for Jukebox to finally, matter of fact, we don't even know what happened. Like I appreciate how they left us on a cliffhanger with Jukebox and her biological mom. It's like the biological mom is sitting there doing her choir practice thing, and she, walks in, Jukebox walks in seeing her mom, lead choir. And just for the fact that they locked eyes, almost like a deer in the headlights moments, it's almost like, Jukebox mom knew immediately, damn, that's my daughter who's finally coming back looking for answers. And so when she went to go chase her down, I don't know, I'm hoping she caught her, and in the next episode, we see a conversation between Jukebox and the biological mom. I really enjoyed how they left us on that cliffhanger, because we don't know if she ran into her or not. You just see the mom running into the stairwell, and she looks surprised, but we don't know if she just didn't see anybody or if maybe Jukebox stops so they can talk. So I'm definitely seeing how that goes. And speaking of Fame, I definitely don't like how, Kanan is, putting drugs into the mixtapes. Although very smart, that's going to blow up in their face. It's like, because if you look at it, like, they selling mixtapes, and of course the cops are still poking fun of them, like, oh, you're selling your mixtapes. Not realizing that this time they're really selling drugs under the cops' noses. But it's almost like if the cops, just do 5 minutes of sleuthing, you just look on the ground and you see these open mixtapes with no cassette tapes in them, but yet you see all these dope heads with empty cassette tapes around them. You'll quickly put two and two together. So, that's not a good look, especially being that he's stealing from Rock's people. She's stealing from Kanan is stealing from the people working for Rock. So that's going to just make money come up short, as you see in the previews, if you stayed for the previews. So, overall, I really did like how this episode went, and we're starting to see all these other relationships take place. And speaking of relationships, that goes on with Marvin. And I'm not going to lie, I think Marvin is my favorite character in this series, only because I find him to be the funniest. He's always eating, no matter where he is. And we definitely find out that his type of anger is described as the open and aggressive anger, after he told one of his examples of how he can get so quickly or easily angered. But you can't help but laugh about how he is trying to actually put his namaste, let me calm myself down actions to work. He has quite the interaction with the man in the wheelchair. And hey, kudos to the guy in the wheelchair. He wasn't willing to back down for nobody. He's like, look, I clearly can't get up or down these stairs. Y'all got these elevators smelling like, a bathroom. People taking, shitting everywhere, pissing. I got to use this, And not only that, all y'all are just taking the elevator. I got to wait 45 minutes just to get up to my floor. So it's like, but instead of, even though the guy in the wheelchair was talking kind of reckless to Marvin, Marvin took the biggest step, did his thing as if he's inhaling a large, freshly cooked pizza out the oven. And he just calmed it down. And he actually, instead of trying to fight a man in a wheelchair, which would have been kind of a new low, he actually helps him out, tells people to hold up, and lets him use the elevator to get to his floor. So, and with that said, who knows? There may be some sparks and this might be like the opening opportunity for, who knows, Marvin to come back to the anger management class and let him know how that the helper has, helped him out. And I think it's written on the wall that they're going to be talking on a not so professional level somewhere later on this season. So definitely seeing how that's going to go. But yeah, I think this episode was dope, man. And although they didn't really get into it, but clearly Crown now has a way to try to get Lou out of the studio. He's offering to, let Rock use the studio to clean some drug money. And I don't think it's because he disagrees with Lou's music decisions. I think he kind of is seeing the writing on the wall that Lou knows the real reason why Crown sent his girlfriend over to Cali. And it's because, this guy really must, I think Crown knows that Lou found out that he slept with his girl. And if there's been, it's nothing for men to fight over a woman. So I think stuff like that is coming. So yeah, man, I really don't think I'm missing out on anything. Yeah. So with that being said, folks, I'm looking forward to the next episode. I really appreciated this one. These are just my opinion, folks. Peace.